All right, you good? Good luck.
Okay. Welcome to Northeastern and University Day. I'm Dana Henry, the senior mentor in Mass, and a whole bunch of other things up here. And we're going to talk about some different ways that you can be a better mentor and run your team more efficiently. Some of the things that I'm going to talk about are just administrative things that you need to know. And I'm going to direct you to some of the websites that I promote that other teams have put together. This is by no means the end all, the best way to run a team, but I'm going to throw enough at you today over the next hour that you'll be able to pick and choose what works best for you. Some of the administrative things that a lot of you have had to deal with already. The team information management system, when you log in, create your account, you have to do all of your administrative stuff online, register for your events, all that. That's all open now, obviously. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here with your team numbers. The student version, the youth protection part of this, everybody should be through that already. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to register for events. Next slide. Do that. Yeah, you got to do the note thing. Some of the things that the team structure. A lot of teams struggle with this. They come in with 20, 30 kids, and a lot of the teams are run by parents or community-based teams and don't necessarily have teachers involved with the specific training to run a program like this. What I teach, or what I tell teams is to break up into sub-teams. CEOs, Chief Executive Officer, Chief Financial Officer, Chief Operations Officer, Director of Engineering, Chief Manufacturing Officer, and each of these different subgroups, programming, Director of Programming, each of these different subgroups, you want to fill in with the kids that want to be the programmers or want to be involved with the drivetrain. Okay. Hold the kids, the leaders of those subgroups, responsible for meeting the deadlines. And we're going to go through. I'll have some of that information later, a little bit later on. In fact, a lot of this is being taught to your kids that are downstairs in the technical areas. You need to follow a schedule throughout build season and throughout the whole year, for that matter. My own team, my own experience, I've been in, this is my 17th build season. Been in the program for 18 years. Took me a year to get it going, but Rosie has been around for 17 years. And we've developed the business plan that has this particular structure. And you need to be a little bit flexible. When you have enough kids to fill all of the different roles. I think we have 8 sub-teams that we fill. Last year, our numbers were down a little bit. We still won, I think, 12th or 13th Kleiner Perkins Entrepreneurship Award based on our team structure because we were a little bit flexible in the way that we structured the team. But for the most part, CEO, COO, works out very well. You want to run your team as a small high-tech business. And you need to have the marketing, and you need to have the financial people in place. You want to click on the Rolling Thunder link. Rolling Thunder is a team out in western part of the state, western New York, 1511. They've been around for a long time as well. They've been around about 15 years, if I remember right. They actually have this is their website, and they actually have a boot camp that they put together with an all-day seminar with all the different teams. They get everybody together. They run them through different exercises, whether they want to be the CFO or on the manufacturing side. It's a leadership camp, how to be a better leader. And they post everything online. So if you wanted to see one part of the presentation or the workbook, then you just click on that link. Okay, so that this presentation will be available for you and these links as well to do this. One of the things that you want to, so Rolling Thunder is a good, and I make mine available as well if you want a copy of our business plan as well. Rosie 839, but I can get you that. The other thing, a couple other places that you can get some good ideas is the resource library right on the First Inspires website. Okay, it's a little bit tough to navigate, but it does work out well. There is a lot of information there. This isn't exactly what I was looking for, but it gets you to the resource library, and then you can do a search. You can. This is set up for first robotics competition. There is a search box up at the top if you want to put in a specific search engine. What also works well, and we talked a little bit about it in the session earlier today. If you just go directly to Google and you type in firstinspires.org:, and then your search term, that works out very well for navigating the First Inspires website as well. Okay, it works out really well. Behind the lines, click on that. Behind the lines is a group of individuals in the FRC community that do video presentations, and it's sort of like a ESPN Sports Center type of a desk. They do a lot of some online training modules for drive systems and breakdown of a robot of the competition. They do, there's a lot of the technical stuff out there from behind the lines. And these are all top builders from across the country that they got together and through the magic of the internet and put together this series. These are also the same folks that give you the play-by-play at World Championships and some of the other district events. They went out to California a couple weeks ago and they did, what was the competition? Cheesy Champs, yes, thank you. And Beach Blitz. And we have several of those here in New England that put together that whole thing. So there's a couple of things right off the bat. So, well, here's a video, building a controllable robot. Okay, software and some of the different videos that you have. Ty Tremblay, this guy right here, is out of New Hampshire. Look at that, tied twice. He's with 319 Bob. Who else we got here? Francis, Stephanie Morrison, brother and sister combination. Okay. So anyway, so that's another resource for some video information. Anyways, is the Behind the Line series. There's also these presentations will be available through the Neutrons website, the ones that are going on downstairs right now, as well as this. Okay, next. So a little bit of administrative things, things to be thinking about now. Now through October, November, December is obviously when your teams form. Everybody has started meeting already. You want to worry about, you want to get the communication out. Parents need to know what's going on. Your school administrators need to know what's going on with the team. The kids need to know what's going on. I'll tell you from experience that if you have a team meeting and you set everybody down in one room and you talk to them for 45 minutes, they'll probably remember about 2 minutes of the conversation, especially when it comes to calendar items. Okay. Oh, I didn't know we were going there on that day. We got a band trip or whatever. So communication is a good thing in different manners to get the word out. Some of the ways that you can build your team: freshman club night. Bring your robot. Bring a a veteran team from your area. If you're a brand new rookie, you want to show them what the robot looks like. This is a good way to do it, to create the buzz in your team, in your school. Events, the event part has already taken place. Everybody knows where their 2 events are so far. Yeah, did everybody get into their top choices for events? No? You waitlisted for one of them, or?
We got into 2 events.
It just wasn't your top choice. Okay, well, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay.
What was it, the event you didn't get into?
We didn't get to Reading. We got to Bridgewater, which was fine. I just thought you were asking about top choice.
Okay, because there's still some maneuvering going on.
If you have an issue with the travel portion of it, then see Steve. But or if you're happy going to, I mean, Rose, I'm going to be in Bridgewater. Rosie's going to Bridgewater, so I mean, you'll be in good company there. Okay. What's that?
It's a good event.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it is a good event. It is a good event. So the events part is taken care of. FRC blog, you can click on that. You need to stay on top of what's going on. The blog gets posted twice.
There is one thing that, if you have not registered for kickoff site now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes.
You need to do so. We have at least one event in New England that doesn't have enough teams yet to have their kits delivered. That probably doesn't affect anyone in this room. It's one of the 2 Connecticut events. All the others are almost, actually, this one, Christine, is this one full? Here at Northeastern?
I don't know.
Haven't checked it. It's about 30, it's about 30 right now.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So there's still time, but you need to make that reservation and be clear as to how many are going. If you want to go to 2, contact the presenters of those kickoffs directly. And if you're having any trouble with it at all, please contact me.
So yeah, so kickoffs events are filling up now. So make your decisions. So the FRC blog is that something that Frank or his designee puts out twice a week now, if I remember right. Okay, there's a lot of good information in there. Any changes, some of the fun stuff like the download pack 2s, the DLC packs that are game related. They're not going to give away what the game is going to be, but there's just some of the add-on things that you can put right on your cell phone and be reminded of. You have some fun with.
The recommendation is with these blogs, please be sure they do not necessarily go through a school server. School servers have a tendency to block anything with an attachment. And some of these blogs have attachments to them, usually PDFs. If you need to, you can clear the address. The person who sends it out, Jamie, it's her address that's as the return address. And if you've cleared it with your school system, they will go through. But otherwise, we often recommend that your team use Gmail, Yahoo, AOL, any of the commercial sites that have their own spam filter.
If the kids are registered, do they automatically get the newsletter, or do they have to send it up?
I think there's an opt-in.
As an opt-in, they have to actually agree that they want it.
They have to opt into it.
When they sign up, they opt.
Yeah, when the kid, your student should be creating an account, and any of your parents and mentors can create their own accounts and opt in for all of this information too. And Steve makes a good point. A lot of school systems are locked down pretty tight as far as emails coming in and as far as getting access out. Okay, if you're going to do your own kickoff event, or if you want to log into any of these other videos, you know, from the ones that I talked about earlier, these training videos, you may not have access through your school. If you're going to run them, talk to your IT guy and say, hey, look, on Tuesday night from 6 to 9, I'd like to have it opened up so that we can go out to YouTube to watch this, to do this training video. Yes, so.
The FRC blog is actually sent out as an email box to us.
No, it gets posted here. It gets posted here. There are first emails that come out twice a week. Those get sent out. No, but you want to know where I get it? I usually have Chief Delphi up on my desktop at work. Okay, I have two things that are first related that they don't give me too hard of a time about. I'll have Chief Delphi up and I'll have my firstinspires.org email up. So there's a competition going on between like three guys on Chief Delphi that is who can post the link to the blog the quickest. Okay, so I'll see it come up on Chief Delphi, and then I'll click on the link and go right to the blog and read it.
Delphi is also blocked by our school, but I haven't.
Yeah, so you can, and that's a good point. Chief Delphi, everybody know what Chief Delphi is? Yeah, you probably don't? Okay. ChiefDelphi.com, ChiefDelphi.com. It's an online forum for anything robotics. It's heavily FRC, but there is some VEX and a little bit of BattleBots, but it's all small, but it's heavy FRC. It's totally within the community.
It's unofficial.
It's unofficial. It's not FIRST sanctioned in any ways. FIRST does read it. They do monitor it. Okay. There is some bad information on Chief Delphi because you get some freshman that doesn't know what he's talking about posting stuff about pneumatics and giving you wrong information. But there's a lot of us that are on it that do have half a clue, and we kind of self-police it, if you will. But it's a great resource to find out anything FRC related. Now, the only caveat that I have is if they're talking about a rules question, okay, why, somebody asks a question about bumpers, okay, and the proper construction about bumpers, can you use 1/2 inch instead of 3/4 inch plywood, okay? Chief Delphi is not the end all, that's not the answer, okay, unless you see it coming from Al Skirkowitz himself, okay, and even then, he will link it right to the manual, okay? The only way to get official information about robot rules is from the first Q&A or from the manual. Al Skirkowitz is the chief robot inspector for all of us. He's my boss. Okay, as far as robot inspecting goes. But the blog is like for anything like Frank posted, a couple of days ago. It was edited on the 26th. There's information about the safety award, updated information about the safety award. There's a reminder, some good news about championship assignment mapping. If you're in Missouri, okay, if we were in Missouri right now, which championship am I going to? Am I going to the Detroit or Houston? Well, there's the map. There's a link to the map. So this rolls some information, as stuff gets updated and new information comes out.
You may want to assign a reliable student to be monitoring this information to share with the team. This is something that deserves to be done by the students and not by me personally. There is one other recommendation. We occasionally have difficulty reaching teams on weekends or during school vacations with important announcements or questions. Please, in your contact information, if you use it first, at least have some non-work phone number, so that if you're not at work or your school is closed, we can still reach you when there's a critical issue.
First, this doesn't necessarily run to the Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. Okay, we do have events on Saturdays and Sundays, and we do have snow on occasion. So we need to get information out on a Saturday morning, and if the only information that we have related to your particular team is your school email account, and you don't access it, then you're going to lose it out until Monday. And it could be critical information we need to get out right away. So I always, like Steve said, always have, your a personal email and your cell phone number on there, so we can get a hold of you during off hours.
You can register any of those as preferred, and those, that
Preferred
means
in the back.
anything else you put up there would only be used in case of an emergency. And only people that would be contacting you in an emergency have access to that.
So a little bit about before build season. A lot of these dates have already gone by. You're into the you have your event preferences done. They've already been assigned. Second round next week, next Thursday. If you want to do a third event or register outside of the district into a regional. And go to a regional up in Tech Valley, for example, which is that's the closest regional that we have in Mass, anyways. In New England is Tech Valley Regional, up in Albany, New York, or down in New York City.
It's also a new event in Utica.
In Utica, okay. So if you do want to go out there, I know a lot of teams will travel. A couple of years ago, the Neutrons went out to Arizona. The robot didn't, but the team did.
Another robot came on the airplane.
No, after we found it. No, that was like 5 years ago. That was about 5 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, wait, it got lost.
Yeah, that was the year it got lost. That was about 5 years ago. So, anyways, the unrestricted registration opens up on Thursday if you want to go for a third event. Okay, next. Thank you. Things to do now. A little bit of some organizational type stuff again. How do you buy stuff? How do the Quarks purchase extra motors and batteries, and how do you buy your materials?
When there's gas in the tank, and by gas I mean money.
Yeah, yeah.
Then we open POs and go to the vendors that recognize our tax exempt status as a extracurricular program within the town of Watertown.
So all of your funding, even if you needed to spend $37 on a couple of motors, goes from Andy Mark, goes through the town and
When
purchase
we
orders.
can't use tax exempt, we do. Otherwise,
Yeah.
Reimbursements to people that plunk down a credit card are going to be missing their sales tax or
Okay,
things that aren't applicable.
okay. So you kind of fly by the seat of your pants, going getting.
When we
You
can
get it
plan-
done.
When we can plan, we plan.
Yep.
Things happen.
Right. You still got to make the run to Rockies or to Home Depot.
Depot, yeah.
Right. To get the.
We got a range right down the street. So.
Well, there you go. Okay. So there's one way of doing it, opening up purchase orders at the vendors that you deal with. They can do that with Granger. Open up a purchase order, then the town takes care of that. Another way to do that is to have a booster club, or if you want to go to the next level beyond that, a 501c3. Okay, a booster club, all you have to do is go, have a checkbook. All you need is to have, Lynn, what is it, three people now in a checkbook, or 2 minimum? Because you just went through a change with us.
We have 3 people on the account. You only need one sign for the checks.
One sign for this.
But
Yeah.
I always say there's at least 2 people, just for safety reasons for everybody. And if I am not there one day and they need a check and I'm out of town, then the other person can write the check.
So 3 people on the account to be a booster club, and all that means you just take 3 people. That's what we do anyways on the checking account. Is to go down, open up the account, and then 2 people can actually sign. And that's all it takes. And then you just take any of your fundraising money from your pasta dinner or pancake breakfast or whatever. You can just make the deposit. Keep a record, okay, of where the money is coming from and where it's going to. Obviously, just like you would with your own personal finances.
Get receipts for everything.
Get receipts.
Yeah.
Keep track of all that. If you go to the next level and do a 501c3 like I did with my program 10 years ago, that works out great. So now any of our corporate sponsorship money from Command Industrial Bearings or UTC all comes through the Ag One Robotics Education Association. And that also adds a level of protection for you, the mentors, from lawsuits. Little Johnny didn't get to drive, I'm going to sue you. Okay, and that type of a lawsuit does happen. The other side of that is my wife and I were in Stop and Shop one night, and some woman came up to us and said, "Thank you for what?" And she said, "Well, my son is involved. My daughter was involved in a team at First Lego League, and she loved it, and yada yada yada." And she went on the praises of First. And she walked away, and I said to my wife, I said, "Who was that?" She said, "I don't know."
You know,
So they know us, but I had no clue who that was. And so your program's going to get big enough at some point where you're not going to know everybody in it. So immediately we homesteaded the house so they can't sue us and lose the house. And then the 501c3 came along a few months after that. Not that that happens, but it can. Okay, and I'm sure it has at some point. But it also is great for team travel and just your day-to-day expenses. So if we need to run down to Home Depot to get some rope, okay, which is where we got our rope for this year, it's like, okay, great. So I took a couple of kids, we went to Home Depot, I had some petty cash, and I said, okay, which rope works great? And okay, this type of rope hooks up with the hook of the Velcro best for us, and done. Okay, so that's one way to do it. And the school system does have, we do use school for registration and school buses. If we need to hire a bus to get us to a competition, then we funnel that, because they already have the contract with the school bus company. So I actually cut a check to the school system to cover the transportation, and then they do the scheduling of the school bus for us. Parents are your most valuable resource. I don't know of any team. Well, I do know. Well, no, he was a parent too. I don't know of any team that doesn't have parents involved in the team. You? Kinda. Well, yeah, you guys. You guys don't have any. Yeah, but you got enough kids that are enough college students to handle that part of it. I did meet one team a number of years ago at championships. That was a dad, his 4 boys, and a maxed out credit card. Made it all the way to World Championships. Okay, so there's different models that work. Okay, but parents are always part of that model. From the fundraising part of it, if you want to click on the fundraising toolkit link, a number of years ago, we had she's actually now the president of Indiana First, put together this fundraising toolkit. You want to know how to run a successful pancake breakfast, or how to run a golf tournament, or the best way to put together a killer packet to go out and do some cold calling with corporations. It's all here now, and now I see they have videos. Put it all together. Renee did a great job in putting this thing together. There's all kinds of information here on fundraising. And not only the video, but you also have the links.
So if you started last month, chances are there might be something.
Yeah, and you can see fundraising plan overview, different business plan examples from different teams from across the country, documentation, suburban FTC teams, this sponsor presentations, sponsor letter and handout examples. There's a little blurb about what it is, and then some examples. Team 27, what not to do in a sponsor presentation. So you want to know what to do and what not to do. 27 is a National Chairman's Award winner a couple of years ago, right? 27, yeah. So they've been around for a while. In fact, they put together the national thing down in DC every year. Yes, Steve.
Something, I'm not sure it's in here or not, but you should be aware of the fact that groups like the Lions Clubs, other social organizations in your community, run monthly, if not weekly meetings, where they need some sort of presentation to attract members to come to the meetings. If your team were to give a presentation at a local Lions Club, chances are the club itself would make a donation to the team. In addition, you would be talking to the kinds of people that you want for sponsors. It's better to have a large number of sponsors at small amounts than one big one that might suddenly change its mind.
And when you say Lions Club, that also includes Chamber of Commerce, that also includes Rotary, your local Masonic lodges, Knights of Columbus, pick one. Okay, we've been lucky enough in Agawam. We're actually doing our annual presentation to the Agawam Lions Club on the 15th of next month. Next Thursday, we're center stage at a business expo, innovation expo in Springfield. 200 companies are going to be doing a lot of networking and showing off their wares at a business expo in Western Mass. This is the third year that we've been there, and we have a 30 by 50 foot block right in the middle of the whole show. And I learned how to build an airship and a boiler last Wednesday because I'm bringing an airship and a boiler. Okay, so if you're not doing anything next Thursday, Lee, come on out. That'll be at the Mass Mutual Center in West Springfield. Excuse me, in Springfield. But anyway, so a lot of these other demos that you go out and do, you're talking to the Lions Club or talking to sponsorship, different companies. Okay, you want to know how to do that, how to build, a good packet and what to say to these companies. It's all right here. This is a whole nother one-day seminar. But just, again, be aware, the fundraising toolkit, again, versusinspires.org/fundraising toolkit, boom, done. It might be a good idea, okay, in fact, I know it's a good idea, before and I know it's a little bit late, most people have closed their pools and the pool companies are changing over to Halloween and Christmas stuff. But if you don't have any pool noodles, now would be a good time to get some. I have some for you. Secure your build area, start getting your tooling together, do your training for CAD and your wind chill training and machine operation shop safety. Now is a great time to be doing that. Okay. And we talked about TIMS, VIMS, and the student information system. The kid, I believe that's open now. Stephen, am I correct? That just like opened in the last couple of days.
Yeah, you can get access, but there's been some situations where they've shut down the system while they were fine tuning.
Okay, so the student information system, where they register, has just recently been opened, like this within the past couple of days. FRC has come out and told us, anyways, that they're not going to do the paper copies, the paper registration, the paper rosters. So everybody's got to be in the system. Okay, you got to do the electronic system. What I'm going to do in my own team is I'm going to set up, when I get into school Monday night, okay, I'm going to open it up and then I'm going to sit down. Okay, I'm going to go right down my roster, sit down, do this, sit down, do this. Because if you tell them, here, click on the link and do it at home, you'll end up with sporadic cooperation at the most. The bill's already been paid, okay, because you're in. Okay, click on the season calendar. There's a lot of things that are going on now and into November and December. Today, obviously, there's what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4 different competitions going on today across the country. Your Cha-Cha Ruckus out in Western New York is going on right now. If you want to click over to the dates, over to let's see. On any of your dates are already here. The second event registration was on October 12th. Okay. Okay, go to November. If you can go to next here. November, first championship waitlist registration for veterans teams opens. Any of the dates that you need to pay attention to for champs or for safety animation award application opens. Okay, any date related is all on this calendar, from Dean's List Entrepreneurship Award, all of these online submitted forms or the award submittals for these online, the dates what they open and close. There will be a point where the registration is going to close, period. And then bills have to be paid by, I think it's like December 4th or something like that. Okay, you need any kit and kickoff information, the dates for that. the who knows when kickoff is, what's the date of kickoff? The 6th of, very good, okay. When's stop work day? Of January? Yee. Hey, they started making chips by the 20th of January. No,
We wish.
no.
February,
What's the middle?
Yeah, December, February,
6 weeks, 6 weeks.
February 20th, I think is the actual date.
It's a Tuesday.
Yeah, the February 20th.
And it used to be that you had to have it shipped that day. So whenever they picked it up, that was the end of it. Now you bag it, and you have to have it bagged before midnight.
So some of the other things that you could be doing, so the dates, January 6th to February 20th. A lot of things that you can be, go out and purchase now, or do some dumpster diving, to get. And I have a whole nother presentation on dumpster diving and how that works out. But some of these things that you need to start collecting now, your aluminum, your Lexan, your Lexan is good, not acrylic. Lexan is polycarbonate. Polycarbonate, good. Okay. Plexiglass is acrylic. Acrylic is not good because it has a tendency to shatter when it breaks. Okay, and we don't want shattered acrylic all over the place, especially the inspectors, because we cut our fingers on it and we're not happy when that happens. Electrical supplies, your hardware, your nuts, bolts, screws, washers, that type of stuff. Make a list of the local vendors in your area. For example, the Quarks, they have to go through purchase orders. So they set up their purchase orders, within the next month or so, they'll be setting that up with Granger and Andy Mark and so forth, okay? Find a t-shirt guy, okay? You're gonna need new shirts every year, okay? For the new kids coming in, set that up now, okay? You can actually be coming up with your team name, which 7127 should be doing that now. Come up with their official team name and their logos and all of that stuff. And I can hook you up with a t-shirt guy too. Who's one of Rosie's sponsors, so that's a good thing. You want to keep me happy. Get all your tooling together. Get your pool noodles. And if you don't have pool noodles, $55 on Amazon for a case of them. Okay, it's not too bad. Set up your sub teams. Yes.
Is it on the pool noodles? So now when you go to the pool places, the diameter is shrinking. by the noodles.
2.5 inch.
Yeah.
2.5
It
inches.
was at Amazon last year, bought that big box of them.
Yep.
And we were worried about the size of it, like a 3.
You can 2.5 inch. It's been 2.5. Yeah, it's been 2.5. Now the style of noodle is not the issue. Whether it be solid or hollow, okay, or even the rosette is legal.
They're
I
starting
mean,
to shrink because they get cheaper than
we'll have to take a look. I haven't experienced that. I haven't seen that.
We had one for last year.
You did have a problem with it last year? Okay.
Because the dollar stores are shrinking.
The rule is 2.5, and it's been 2.5.
If you have a critical problem, call me. I have some in my garage that be left over from the event 2 years ago.
Recycle rush.
What is that?
So, I'm sorry, pool noodles, for the rookie in the room, everybody know Lee, wave to Lee, okay? The pool noodles are for bumpers. Okay, robot bumpers, and bumpers will be in play this year. I could do a whole seminar on bumpers, on how to build the proper bumper. So basically it's 3/4 inch plywood, 5 inches tall, has to be supported on either end by a minimum of 1/2 inch, nothing more than 8 inch thin, this, that, and okay. But they're covered with a durable fabric, red or blue, and the bumper material itself, the bumpers themselves are 2.5 inch pool noodles, one on top of the other, horizontal. Okay, I'll show you. You will be well educated on bumpers.
I'd like to give a shameless promotion here. We have in our warehouse more of those pickleballs, energy units from last year's game. and the gears than we possibly would ever need. We are looking for proposals from teams as to how they might use them. And it might be that your team might make a donation to a local community group, or maybe a museum to make a gear board or something like that. Or just to have a gear board on the wall of your lab. If you want any of these, let me know. They come in boxes of 36 gears, and I don't know up for the balls. And the gears are available either constructed or with screws ready for you to put them together.
Yeah.
That works.
Museum or something, because then they can put them on their wall for kids.
Okay.
We'd rather have the teams do this so that the team gets some, promotion on it.
So, your light 4 more boxes too, by the way,
Oh, okay.
of
Balls?
balls. Yeah, and 20
I hope
gears.
they went to good use.
Oh, you'll see them Thursday.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah. So again, we're into, we're caught up now on our calendar. Now's the time to register for kickoff. The 2 remote kickoffs here in Mass are here at Northeastern and out in Marlboro. I also just noticed that Dean, the founder's reception is going to happen again at Dean's house on Friday night, the January 5th, the Friday night before kickoff. If you get the opportunity to go to that, do that. You can register through your online registration system. That's an invitation only. You register, you get a couple of tickets. It's a great opportunity to go. Dean and about 700 of his closest friends will be there in his house, and his house is quite interesting in itself.
Are there going to be any workshops at First Headquarters?
I've been entertaining that idea to do that again.
I
What?
just want to see this type of thing, is replacing those workshops that we used to do that first.
Yeah.
That's only for like people, so yeah.
The last couple times, like, I didn't do it last year, but for about 3 years running beforehand, I did put together like a 3-hour block where it was open-ended. I mean, if you want to come in and I had a panel of experts to come in and, pick our brains. It wasn't really well attended. I mean, it was okay. I didn't do it last year, so if there's an opportunity that somebody wants to. What's that?
We do seminars at the.
Yeah. Northeastern does seminars here. And also the Saturday after the kickoff, they'll do a quick build. You guys can do a quick build too?
Yep.
Okay. Do a quick build here. I don't know if they're gonna do that in Marlboro or not. But they do. The day of, they're gonna do a quick build on
For any of the rookie teams.
any of the rookie teams that come in. What's that? With the kit parts, yeah. With the frame.
No, do run 3 workshops days like this. Individual teams have done them. Right now, today, there's one in Portland, Maine, similar to this one. This one is by far probably the most focused in the sense that it focuses on FRC. Earlier, about a month ago, we had one in Connecticut. We are looking for other locations around New England to run these early season workshops. They're far better than the day before kickoff.
And I've been in contact, I've been working with Western New England University for the last year or so, bringing them into the fold. With the 8th and the 15th of November, we're gonna run one on just general robot construction on the 8th, and then specifically on CAD on the 15th, if you wanna make the trip out to Springfield. We're just starting to bring them into the fold. So I suspect in next fall, we will be running at least a similar one like this at Western New England as well, in the western part of the state, Western Mass. Which is what?
I graduated from there.
Oh, did you? Okay. In Sleath. Yeah, how do you pronounce it? Sleath Hall? There'll be, I know Lee was at the meeting with me the other night. If you want to make the trip out, Rookie workshops, maybe, and Friday Dean's House, the live event at Southern New Hampshire. Again, we talked a little bit about it earlier, Northeastern they're running one here. They will have the practice field elements, not real ones, but the practice ones, which is perfectly fine. So at least they will be built to scale, built to the same dimensions that you're gonna see up on the regular field, except it'll be out of 2x4s and Lexan instead of real elements. And then any team that the event itself will be live streamed over robotics.nasa.gov. You can pick up the live stream there. Okay, next. Quick timeline. Okay, a lot of you have been through this before. Week 1, brainstorming, finalizing the strategy, assign a student as an inspector to make sure that you read the manual. Start prototyping in week 2. Inventory your replacement parts. Okay, you have a couple of kids that make the spreadsheet of what you have, and keep track of what is needed, so that when you do have to make that purchase, you're not buying too much. Make chips in week 3. Start putting stuff together. Week 3, week 4, and then I don't know if Suffield is going to do their.
We're still working on that.
We're still working on that.
Is having enough field elements.
The field element part, yeah. But there will be one in probably Nashua, a week 0 event that first usually runs. Right up the street in Nashua, New Hampshire. So if you want to get together, it's the last Saturday of build season. If you have enough of your robot put together to go up and drive it around and see how the game is, get an idea of how the game is going to be played.
Or even if you have base that just functions.
Or even just a basic go up and drive around, interface with the field management system. That's a big thing. Yep. You can go see what other teams are doing. Okay.
Quincy runs an invitational that day. Clinton runs an invitational because they have limited capacity. They try to determine who they can accommodate. There are a number of pre-kickoffs you can run with other teams. Say that there's a team that has some of the game elements. You can arrange to meet at their workplace and share ideas.
Yeah.
Week 3, you should have your final designs pretty much locked down. By week 3, you start making parts, making chips. Yeah, you get your milling machine and cutting up aluminum. Okay. So a couple of random thoughts on build season, and this will help your team and help you maintain some sort of sanity. You'll not have enough time. That's the beauty of FRC, just like in your regular job. It's limited resources, not enough time, not enough money, not enough manpower. A good thing, and some of your teammates are going through this presentation downstairs right now on how to build to your capabilities. Pick one good thing. First off, you want to make sure you have a strong drivetrain. Because if you can't move, you're a brick. And if you're a brick, you're not going to be any help at all to your alliance partners. If you can move, you can play defense. There was my own team at Battle Cry this year. Our shooter was not functioning well. Our climber was working fine, but our shooter wasn't functioning well. Just by playing defense, we were able to shut down one of the top teams here in New England, 195 out of Connecticut, and we beat them in the semifinals. Okay, so my point is, we had a strong drivetrain, and yes, you can play defense with a Mechanism drivetrain. We did it. Okay. Yeah, you were, I think you were there.
No,
Were you at Battle Cry?
yes.
Yeah.
This spring?
Yeah. So, number one thing that you want to design strong is your drivetrain, so you can at least move and play defense. Okay. Beyond that, pick one element of the game that you're reasonably assured that you could be good at, whether it be shooting balls, whether it be climbing a rope, whether it be, I have no idea what the game element is this year. It could be hockey pucks. I have no idea.
Don't try to do it all.
Huh? Don't try to do it all. Right. There's a few teams that do it well. Okay, but they have the resources to do everything well. Neutrons always do it well. They've got about 73 people on their team, and 68 of them are college students. And they're all, but they had, and I joke, okay, but they are one of the strong teams in New England, and one of my go-to teams if I need something. Okay, and if you guys need something too, they are Christine Brando downstairs. Okay, they always make sure that the teams that ask for help get it. Okay, and Buzz is another one. 839 is another one. There's a number of teams. Infinite Loop up in Maine, same thing. 155 in New Hampshire. 131, they do the same thing. Okay, if you need help, ask. That's all you got to do. So build to your capabilities. Pick out one thing. That seminar is going on downstairs. Hopefully, you guys have people there. You will not sleep. Sleep is overrated. You must manage the drama. Okay, on your team, high school kids, you got guys and gals on the team. There's always going to be some sort of drama. You got to manage that. To the extreme where I know one team that if you're a boyfriend and girlfriend on the team, one of you has to leave. It's a little extreme, but that's the way they operate. Okay, and that eliminates 98% of their drama right off the bat. So the guys are blue, the girls are pink. You combine the two, you're purpling. Okay, no purpling is one of the terms that we use. Okay, set reasonable goals for design, for attendance, participation. Yeah, there's not every kid is going to make every meeting. So if you set minimum attendance requirements of 98% of all team meetings, you're never going to have anybody who's going to meet 98% of all the team meetings. Okay, and celebrate success. Okay, you get something driving, go get a pizza. Awards, we'll get into awards later on after lunch, so we can skip that slide. Competitions, we've already talked about those. You've already got your assignments already. Next. A little bit about the itinerary. Day 0 is load in and set up. Day 1, tech inspection, practice matches is opening ceremonies. Qualification matches start. Okay, they finish up on day 2. Alliance selection, top 8 teams. We've already been through that. You guys have been there before. Okay, next. District point systems. We talked about that earlier in a presentation earlier. Next, and read the manual. First Q&A is the official interpretation of the rules. So if you have a question about how to make a good bumper, okay, can I use 1/2 inch versus 3/8, or can I use 5/8 instead of 6/8 plywood? Okay, and you want to ask the question to get an official answer, go to the first Q&A. Your lead mentors or your alternate mentors, your main contacts for the team, they have access to the first Q&A. They can submit the question for you. Okay, and the answers are coming directly from the GDC, from the Game Design Committee.
Yeah, there's 2 parts to the manual. The first part's already been released. It's available on firstinspires.com. It's about half of the actual manual.
Any of the administrative stuff, any of the non-robot related stuff has been released.
Yeah, I would recommend looking at it because there are some changes. And that way it reduces the amount of manual review you have to do once you get the version that has information about the specific game. The only thing that we have guaranteed right now about that game is its name. It's called Power Up.
First power up. That's it. Any questions? That's all I got for right now. Now, I know a lot of this is, is been old hat. Hopefully you picked up some of it to help you manage your team better. You're in it for the kids. They should be first, but not only. You need, as team leads, there's two sets of people you need to take care of. Number one is the students. You're here for them, to do it for them, to give them the opportunities that FRC does afford. But you're also here to make sure that your other mentors are taken care of as well. Because if you get those people upset and they drift away, then guess what? It's just the two of you. And I know I couldn't do it if I didn't take care of my people on Rosie as well. And I know I wouldn't have. New England wouldn't have the success it does if it wasn't for guys like myself and Steve and taking care of you. So that our job is to take care of you. Your job is to make sure the mentors on your team do a good job and take care of the students. So kind of trickle down. In fact, that we're all here in one big happy family.
Can you share a couple examples of what you do to take care of your mentors?
We have a, and it's growing. We have a 9:05 on Wednesday night. Okay. For example, okay, Rosie meets